couple months ago, I bought my first Muddy River figures, being the three here, Emma Frost, Daredevil, and Professor X. I was very impressed with the presentation of their packaging. You can see they're very unique clamshell style packaging there. And of course, it's just fun to get a couple of characters that LEGO hasn't made, but also a figure design that hasn't been done by LEGO, being a very comic accurate Daredevil. And of course, all three of these figures are based off of their designs from the LEGO Marvel games, which is also fun to see in physical form here. But today I'm going to be showing off a couple of new figures by them, which are both two characters that I'm very excited to take a look at, one of which being Symbiote Spider-Man and the other being the Spot. Of course, you just got to start with the packaging and the overall presentation of their figures, which I really appreciate. You know, you have the clamshells, but on the inside they include sticky tack and a plate that you can put on the card to secure the figure onto the actual print there and display it. Nothing on the back, but I think that's kind of fun, you know, having an actual stand in the packaging. And since it's a clamshell, you can open it and close it however many times you want to. Some details on the packaging: it's silver tiered, which means that it's above 25, I believe, 25 to 60-ish. It's the 41st figure by MRM. And it's weird, the figure numbers kind of jump around a bit. You can see the Spot is 94, so where are the 50 figures between those two? And I'm pretty sure I figured out that this bottom corner number here is the number out of the total. So I have the second purple Spider-Man figure and the 17th Spot figure. But we'll take a look at Spot second. And first we'll do the Spider-Man. And you know, while this metallic purple one here is really cool, I actually have a couple more. And you can see right here, I actually have all three different variants that are the color purple of some sort. The middle one here is just dark purple, and the one on the right here is a limited metallic dark purple. So this one here, silver tier, so there are more of these ones. These other two are both gold tier. I believe that the dark purple here is 1 out of 2 maybe, and the metallic dark purple is 1 of 4. Honestly, if I knew I'd be able to buy this one, I probably wouldn't have gotten these two, but it'll still be interesting to look at all of them and maybe do a little bit of a comparison, see what I like, don't like. Let's take a closer look at the contents of the packaging and then throw the figure on the stand. So I went a little bit into detail describing this, but you can see there's that little rectangle on the print, which is the perfect size for a 1x2 plate that they provide. That way you could put the back of the figure onto the card. Otherwise, what I usually do is just rest this into the plastic, put the figure on top of it, and that works too, and that way you're not gluing onto a cool print like this. Another cool thing that they do is vacuum seal their figures to keep them a little bit more protected. So that's kind of a nice feature. When I first reviewed them, they had each part of the figure separated and in their own little pocket in the plastic, which is probably a little redundant. And what a cool color for a minifigure. Just because LEGO doesn't really have something that translates perfectly into this. One thing to note is that it does have metallic hands, which can be damaged if you put things in them, like an accessory, a bar piece, something like that. They did point out in the description that you could swap them out for a sand purple hand, like the ones on Sam Wessel's torso. So I'll just throw those on quick to show that off. And you know what, for the most part, it's not super noticeable. So that's good to know. You just kind of see it's a little bit flatter, but that makes sense. It's good to have an alternative like this if you do want to do some sort of posing with this figure, but it's kind of collectible, so I don't know if that's something I would personally do. And it's interesting to note that these metallic hands are actually printed over yellow hands. So that's kind of cool to see that little bit of behind the scenes. Just looking at the print on the figure, this is basically a copy of the LEGO Symbiote Spider-Man figure that they released for Comic-Con. The torso itself was used on the original LEGO Venom figure as well. Unfortunately, I don't have that copy, but I do have one of the more modern Venom figures. You can see that the logo is a bit different on this one. I didn't even realize that the torsos were different between the older Venom figures and the new ones. So that's something I'll have to look out for in the future, just so I can update the symbiote Spider-Man suit that I did make to make it a little bit more comic accurate, I guess, and to match these ones. Just because this is based off of a 2013 figure, I believe, the detailing isn't amazing. It is clean where it is, just simple muscle lines, and it's really just that spider logo and the eyes, nothing on the back of the head, no leg printing, other than, the metallic coating of whatever kind that they put on the entire figure. I will say one part of the figure looks a little bit weird, and that's kind of the bottom of the spider there. It just has like a bigger black print that kind of sticks out when it's on a lighter color like this purple. But you know what? This is kind of cool and interesting. I don't have many of these like metallic coated figures. I know that Phoenix Customs has messed around with this type of sheen on the printing before. So, it's good to have reference for this for something that might come up in the future. After this one, let's jump into that dark purple one. And getting into this one, it's going to be a lot of the same. It has the exact same print. That black line would be really my only complaint again. I like purple in general, but I kind of wanted to get a purple one so it kind of matched the Ultimate Spider-Man look that they kind of did. And, the metallic lighter purple, I thought that would be kind of the closest. But, it's a little too light. I'm interested to see what they were really going off of to choose that color. Maybe they just wanted to test it out. This dark purple one might be a little bit closer, but again, not dark enough, I guess I would say. But, for this one, the hands are going to be consistent and just normal Lego hands, so you don't have to worry about damaging those at all. Maybe something that would be nice would be like a little white block of some sort on the arms or maybe the hand. I know that Lego hands are kind of impossible to print on, so they would have to use custom parts, and it just complicates things, so that's probably why they didn't do that. You know what, just another cool design and figure by Mighty Rivers, and let's get into that last Spider-Man one. This is definitely the standout of the three of them, this darker metallic purple. This matches perfectly what I would think of with the oozy slime like symbiote, especially seeing the movie version of Venom. This is just a great color choice and looks very cool. I'm really interested in how they did these metallic coatings, just because it might be a little hard to see in camera, but there are a little bit of color inconsistencies where some areas are darker than others. But honestly, that just adds a little bit of extra texture and cool shading and depth on the figure overall. So I'm not complaining about that. It's just something I'm noticing. And some of those muscle lines are a little bit more subtle, which probably works better for a figure like this. Especially for the skin-tight suit and how they drew them in the comics. Sometimes the muscle definition doesn't 100% make sense. And just like those other two, the printing is simple but gets the job done. And it's nice that the line I've been complaining about is a little less noticeable on a darker print like this. But I'm so glad to have this figure, and this is definitely my main black suit Spider-Man in the collection. And just a little bit of a tease, I might have a Venom figure like this in the future that I'm excited to get and eventually do a video on, so keep an eye out for that. But let's jump onto the main course, being the Spot. And for a character with such a simple design, this is basically a perfect Lego figure representation of them. With the newest Spider-Verse movie out, it's the perfect time to come up with a design for this, release it. And they definitely didn't cut any corners. I love all the spots everywhere, on the sides of the legs, even on the back of the hip. So that's really nice to see that they are adding weird little printing in places that you wouldn't necessarily expect it. It's kind of cool, the stomach lines and all those little details just work very well for this version of the character, since this is based off of the movie. And, well, there's not a whole lot to say about it, just because it is black dots on the figure for the most part for the detailing. Nothing on the sides of the torso or anything like that. It is very effective, and that's what I really look for, especially for comic book figures, is that they get the message across, and this is just a perfect Spot figure. Of course, this one came out and I bought it, and Jin announced theirs, which has some cool features to make it look like the portals are working. But I'm very happy with this one, and for the price. It was a pretty good value compared to other offerings, especially since this one is pad printed, just like Lego. And I'll definitely have to figure out a way that I can do something with Spider-Man in a build in the future for a convention maybe. And this is such a cool piece for the collection. I'm very happy to have it. Let's get on into some final comparisons and the final verdict. And after looking at all of them individually, it's kind of fun to have the whole collection together like this, having the different colors and depth of color. I have my kind of purist, kind of custom black symbiote suit here with the Eclipse graphic hands, Firestar head. You can see how it compares to the one that's based more on the SDCC Lego version. And again, you know, if I had known I'd be able to buy this dark purple one, I do think I would have just gotten this one. Wouldn't have gotten these two, but my attic riddled brain is not going to let me get rid of those ones. So now I have every purple variant. So that's kind of fun. I do like the color, especially the two metallic ones are very unique. I'm glad to have those. And this is just a cool collection, great detailing as you would expect, especially since it's so simple. Not a lot of room for error here. So with these symbiote figures out of the way, I just have to say that the Spot is a close second to that dark purple one. And this figure is going to be perfect for just your Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery, but also fits in great with the Across the Spider-Verse Lego figures that have come out. The Miles is a custom figure by Minibigs, but the other two here are official. And this is really going to fit in perfectly with just your Lego Marvel collection, not even necessarily your custom figure collection. That's always great to see. I love the compatibility between custom brands and official figures. And it's just a great example of that. And I'm just really pleased with the figures I got in this order. You know, Spider-Man is a pretty universally loved character. So it's always nice to get a nice variety of characters in the Spider-Man Lego line, whether it is official figures. They do a pretty good job, honestly, getting different variants out. But it's nice to have some custom options to fill in those blanks, especially for some of those movie characters. You're probably never going to see those by Lego just because of brand licensing deals. But let me know which one of the figures in the review is your favorite. I still think this is definitely the best one. Spot second, maybe the dark purple Venom, and then the metallic lighter purple one. If you want to see more custom Lego videos or other Lego videos in general, check out all the other ones on my channel. I've been Brick Ratty Hop, and I'll see you in the next video.